ladies and gentlemen, the Mica Miller case has a bit of a development, an unexpected development. How good do you know JP? We're talking about the Mica Miller case. Mica Miller is an innocent woman who took her own life on April 27th. And many people have been speculating that that's not the case. Either she didn't do it or someone influenced her to do it. But this case has been driving a lot of people insane. Many people believe that the pastor has something to do with it. I myself, in my opinion, believes that he may not have a direct influence, but maybe he's correlated in somehow. Just my opinion. Now, for legal purposes, I cannot say that her ex-husband, the pastor, who's alive, and she's deceased because of a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. But her husband, John Paul, here, you see before you, has a lot of skeletons in the closet. And I don't mean that as like a maybe. I mean, I know he does. He does. Grooming her since she was at a young age. Having multiple affairs. Cursing out people. Saying very harmful things. Giving out his phone number while he's married to a waitress. Many people saying a lot of red flags with this guy. And I myself am saying it too. Well, this is the case we're going to be talking about. Mica Miller today, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Novacity. My name is Nove, true crime podcast, streaming live both on Facebook and YouTube. But I would like for you guys to do me a big, big favor. I want to say good evening. I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. Hit the like, hit the share button for me. That means so much to me. Hitting the like and share gets that out to the people who really want to see it, that have not seen the case, heard about it, or they don't have any updates. I have an update. I do. I even have the new video that dropped today of JP having a mental breakdown of some sort. Not really sure what's going on, but we're going to try to break down this video here. And this is just a disturbing case. So please, like I said, do me a favor, hit the like, hit the share. And if you're brand new, consider dropping the follow button. You'll like it here. This is a true crime podcast. Again, streaming both live on Facebook and YouTube. Let's jump into this case with Mica Miller. All right. So let's get into some updates. Let's just go straight to it.
30-year-old. We have new details surrounding the death of 30-year-old Mica Miller. The woman took her own life late last month, just 2 days after serving divorce papers to her husband, who is the former senior pastor at a church in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. News Nation's Rich McHugh digging deeper into this story now. There is a newly uncovered police report from earlier this year. And Rich, that report contains previously unknown information about Mica's relationship with her husband. What are we learning?
Hi, Natasha. Well, we're learning a lot. We just got even more police reports. I submitted a FOIA request from the Myrtle Beach Police Department, and now we have about 12 different police reports with all sorts of new information about Mica and their troubled past. Here's what we're learning. She told officers that she and John Paul, her then husband, had been separated since January of 2023, that she has known her husband, who is 14 years her older, since she was 10, that, quote, he groomed her while she worked for him at Solid Rock Church until they were married in 2017. She's
10 years old. He groomed her. You heard that?
Her while she worked for him at Solid Rock Church until they were married in 2017. She said her husband stole her car, that she had been hospitalized against her will, that police found a tracking device on her car. Now, in communication with John Paul Miller over text message, he confirmed to me that he was behind that. Quote, I even hired PI to put trackers on her car to know if she was going to a gun store because she had kept trying to get a gun for the past few months, adding, I have never once in my entire life ever hurt her in any way, ever.
Now, I'm looking at this text message, right? He can easily validate himself and said she kept on trying to go to a gun store because if she kept on trying, what would have stopped her from January till now? Does that make any sense? You've been separated from her since January, John Paul. You put a tracking device on her, but what kept her this whole time? I don't get it. It took her to when your papers were served on the 25th to the 27th is when she did that to herself. You can easily use it as a cop-out. That makes absolutely no sense. I put a tracking device. How does a tracking device stop her from going that doesn't stop her. Stopping her is literally being in front of her and saying, stop. Tracking device is tracking her. You want it to keep your eye, for whatever reason. This is not a deterrent to try to keep her away from the gun store. That makes no sense. She kept, okay, but if you've been separated from her since January, how is that keeping her away? I don't understand that. I don't get it.
Now, Tim Carter, a friend of Mica and formerly a friend of JP as well, recounts this conversation he had with JP a few years prior. Take a listen.
JP personally called me and said, hey, Mica bought a gun. She's out in the backyard. Well, you think she bought it to shoot me? I don't know, JP. I don't know what's going on in the house that would be a reason. So, this isn't the first time he's tried or that there's been suicide brought up. I get it, and then he was scared. Was wondering, do you think she bought it to shoot me? Well, why would that be a question if you wasn't mistreating her?
In March, she posted on Facebook some advice for anyone struggling with leaving an abusive situation. Here she is.
You don't have to stay in an abusive relationship, whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs, or alcohol abuse, or physical abuse, psychological abuse, making you think that this is all your fault, or you're a bad mom, or you're a bad wife, or you're a bad husband, or you're not giving it your all when you know you are.
It blows my mind. How dare you say, why would your wife buy a gun after all the things that she said that you have been doing to her? Do you want me to go over those things if you're brand new to the podcast? Drugs, forcing her to watch things she's not supposed to. Literally destroying this woman's mental state. This girl has suffered. Are you not going to buy a gun? That's your lawful right. You have an American right to bear arms. She have made police reports. She wants to defend. I would buy a gun if I know that I'm being tracked. If I know that I'm being abused. If I know that, hey, somebody is stalking me. I feel threatened. Anyone could have a firearm to defend themselves. That is your American right. What do you mean she bought it from you? I mean, JP, what did you do to her that she needs to buy a firearm? You understand? It's 1 + 1 = 2, honestly.
Mica's father, Michael, posting on Facebook just recently saying, it's not over. The floodgates are opening. Justice for Mica. Now, I've asked JP for an interview, and his attorney said no, or at least not at this time. He's not going to be speaking. In speaking with her friends, she says this is just this is just beginning. Natasha.
At just beginning. Rich McHugh, we appreciate the FOIA requests you submitted and the new reporting on this today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.
Absolutely. There is a lot of updates, ladies and gentlemen. That's just one that I have. Wait till you see the new video that I have of JP having some type of attack or something. Have no idea. But let's have a listen.
In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina tonight, John Paul Miller has not, repeat, not been charged with any crime in relation to his wife Mica's death, which has been ruled a suicide. But her friends and her family are pushing for the investigation to continue, and we have learned some disturbing new information that tells us why. It was already known that the Millers had a troubled marriage, and hey, behind closed doors, even the happiest couples have rough patches, but not like this. A trove of court and police documents released today reveals the Millers' relationship was no portrait of connubial bliss, allegedly characterized by emotional abuse, manipulation, and control. John Paul, who until recently was the pastor of the Solid Rock Church in Myrtle Beach, has just released a statement denying these allegations. The documents were released just weeks after Mica took her own life on April 27th, her suicide coming 2 days after she served her husband with divorce papers to end their 7-year marriage. Joining us now with details is News Nation investigative correspondent Rich McHugh, who's been digging through all these documents. And, Rich, you've been talking to Mica's friends. What have they told you?
Hi, Elizabeth. So her friends are doing exactly what you say. They're continuing to fight on, and they want what they're saying is justice for Mica. Part of that is directing us to their leads. So I have FOIA'd these documents from the Myrtle Beach Police Department. I got back about 14 different police reports, and what they show is that there's this pattern of just all this troubling behavior over the course of several years, but mostly in the past 6 months, the events started ticking up. I want to read some of the top headlines from these police officers, what she told police officers. Mica and John Paul had been separated since January of 2023, that she has known her husband, who is 14 years older, that he, quote, groomed her while she worked for him at Solid Rock Church until they were married in 2017. She also said her husband stole her car, that she had been hospitalized against her will, that police found a tracking device on her car. In communication with John Paul Miller over text message, he confirmed to me this. He said, I hired a PI to put trackers on her car to know if she was going to a gun store because she kept trying to get a gun for these past few months. He added, I have never once in my entire life ever hurt her in any way, ever. Now, a friend of Mica's, Tim Carter, recounts this conversation he had with JP a few years prior. Take a look.
JP personally called me and said, hey, Mica bought a gun. She's out in the backyard. Well, you think she bought it to shoot me? I don't know, JP. I don't know what's going on in the house that would be a reason. So, you know, this isn't the first time he's tried or that there's been suicide brought up. He was scared, was wondering, do you think she bought it to shoot me? Well, you know, why would that be a question if you wasn't mistreating her?
In March, she posted on Facebook some advice for anyone struggling with leaving an abusive situation. Here she is.
You don't have to stay in a abusive relationship, whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs, or alcohol abuse, or physical abuse. Psychological abuse, making you think that this is all your fault, or you're a bad mom, or you're a bad wife, or you're a bad husband, or you're not giving it your all when you know you are.
Mica's father, Michael, posting just on Facebook saying, it's not over, the floodgates are opening, justice for Mica. Elizabeth?
Thanks so much for watching. Go to
That's
joinnn.com.
crazy, man, how this man could just like, it's okay, guys, because I feel like proper justice is going to come. It's going to come. It's going to come. It's going to come for this lady. I promise you. I want to give bigger shout out to my mods in the chat, man. If you remember, if you won that green badge, I gave you a shout out. Thank you for supporting and being here. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Facebook, YouTube, my beautiful people, man. Love you guys. Again, guys, hit that like and share button for me. We're going to talk about that Mica Miller case. I have the video that I want to show you guys. It just dropped a few hours ago. I'm going to drop it in a second. I'm waiting for more people to come in here, and I'll show you guys, okay? Let's keep watching.
Analyst. Listen, Mica was clearly under duress. She called police 15 times in the last year. And this allegation that John Paul met her when she was 10 years old and began grooming her, could he be charged for crimes related to that?
Let's talk big picture. Even though Mica's no longer here, he could still be criminally and civilly liable. And by the way, in South Carolina, unlike other states, there's no statute of limitations with crimes. So if we're talking about, let's say, for example, grooming, there's no crime of grooming. It kind of encompasses
It's
other
creepy.
things. Well, it could be sexual exploitation of a child. Now, I don't want to make innuendos. I don't want to make accusations, but these are really serious matters we're talking about. She's alleging things of perhaps assault. She's alleging things perhaps of exploitation. She's talking about how she was involuntarily committed to a hospital. Now, what complicates that is he did have a power of attorney, but
why? Is that normal?
so generally speaking, power of attorneys are when someone is in a position where they can't make healthcare decisions for themselves.
Right.
If this is a situation where she could, and I don't know what the terms of it
she's
said.
young and healthy. We
She's
just saw
young and
that
healthy.
video she made of herself. Just what?
Yeah,
not
she
even
seems
2
to be
months
fine.
ago?
Exactly.
I mean,
She
the
was
terms of it
fine.
would be where she would have
The woman had plans. She was fine, perfectly fine. How? You have plans. Come on.
to be in a position where he can make
Come
those
on now.
decisions. But again, you have witnesses who sign that. So something's not adding up about it. Doesn't mean it's a crime. And it seems like her family is suggesting, and we know that the burden of proof is lower, they may file a lawsuit. And, you know, there's something about a wrongful death lawsuit. They may not be able to prove in a court of law that there were crime was committed, who's responsible for her death, but a wrongful death lawsuit, the standard's lower.
There is case law that, you know, there was a case in Massachusetts a few years ago.
Yes.
A woman was found criminally responsible for her boyfriend or fiance's suicide, driving him to suicide with only her words.
Yeah, that's the Michelle Carter case.
Right.
And look, that was involuntary manslaughter. That is when you're acting in such a reckless way that it's foreseeable your actions would cause the death of that person. We have to be very careful about that. Unfortunately, in today's society, people take their lives for a number of reasons. They blame a number of people. We can't open the floodgates for crimes to be committed unless he was directing her to kill herself or
Goading
encouraging her to do it. I don't think that's going to fly there.
Oh, what an...
You see, again, I said this. I can't legally say this. And his evidence shows that he didn't directly, but listen to what he just said. Listen to what he just said.
Foreseeable your actions would cause the death of that person. We have to be very careful about that. Unfortunately, in today's society, people take their lives for a number of reasons. They blame a number of people. We can't open the floodgates for crimes to be committed unless he was directing her to kill herself or encouraging her to do it. I don't think that's going to fly there.
Oh, what an awful case. I'm
Yeah.
sure we're going to learn more as this the family continues to push for an investigation. And thanks so much for watching.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hold on, guys. Give me one real quick. I got to refresh this.
Also had found there seems to me that there could be a civil action, not against the police. The police, you know, under the circumstances, responded, I think, appropriately under what was happening at the time. But there are other things that happened that are related to this church. She was employed there. There's a question about whether she was appropriately paid for her time. She was the church itself was used by John Paul. I have letters that he wrote on church stationery to her, basically disparaging her.
Oh, shit. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. Are we good on YouTube? YouTube, are we back? No?
Stationary to her.
Uh-oh, green screen. All right. There is a technical error over at YouTube. So sorry, guys. There's a technical error over at YouTube. YouTube just has a green screen. I'm going to have to restart the podcast. I'm so sorry, Facebook. Yes, green screen. Yep, we have a green screen. I don't know why it's like that. So sorry. I have no idea. But there is a green screen over at YouTube. It's like green. I don't know why. Let me check one more time. Green screen. Yep, there is. It's completely. Yep. Okay. Somebody said I hate technology. It's okay, guys. It's okay. It's okay. Netta, I'm gonna talk about your super chat. Okay. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. I do apologize. I will restart. Okay, YouTube, I'm so sorry. Facebook, I do apologize. I will restart, guys.